Hi, I'm Joshua Farley.
And I'm Marcus Soto.
And this is Inside Our Industry. Hey, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about the ROC, the Registrar of Contractors. So we're here in Arizona. So I can only speak to Arizona's laws as far as the Registrar of Contractors here, but I assume it's going to be similar other places.
Right.
The Arizona Registrar of Contractors, the rules require us to have our license on everything that we have as far as customer facing. So if we have company vehicles with our logo on it, that means we have to have our license on it. It's just anything with our logo on it, right? Like you can drive your own fucking car around.
Anything we're handing out to the customers that has our headliner or our logo on it, we need to have the.
I think we can talk our employees to having their family have our license. Like the ROC requires us to have our license on your car.
We were talking about tattoos earlier. Maybe just a little. No.
On every employee. Actually, that would be kind of cool. Like they have the line here where they started, and then they have all the companies they work for. Then if they came in with like a ton of art, you're like, dude, this guy can't hold a job. Right, you know what I mean? Like, this guy can't go. All right, we got to derail. So the Registrar of Contractors, what it is I had to test for the license here for electrical. So I own a CR11. They've changed it to CR11 over the years. What that means is a dual license. So we can do work for residential properties and commercial properties. In Arizona, commercial properties is inclusive of industrial properties. There's no separate license you need to do industrial work. So you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, I do residential, commercial, and industrial. But commercial and industrial are all under the same umbrella here in Arizona. In other states, I assume
It's probably different. Maybe a little different somewhere else,
So we're licensed to do both. And you want to make sure that who you hire is licensed to do the work that they're coming to do. I had to show proof of history of it working in my trade. I had to get reference letters. I had to go take a test. Had to take the state exam for the license that I was holding. So as a registered contractor, everybody out there that's got a number has to do these things. They have to jump through the hoops. Do some people get through without actually knowing their stuff? Yeah. I mean, I know a couple that didn't have the history that the ROC requires. ROC requires you had, I think it was like 8,000, almost 10,000 hours. It was like 4 years of working full time in the trade that you are testing for. And I know a guy that got his HVAC license because he lied. You know what I do with those?
Yeah. Report them.
Yep, I report them. I got no fucking mercy, man. Like this is it. Like,
well, they're cheating our industry.
Oh yeah,
everybody that's lying or doing something shady with as far as the ROC goes, they're cheating the industry that their licenses.
Right, and they're lying to the customer. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. So we have to do our job as registered contractors. We have to play the part, right? Otherwise, if I didn't believe in the license, I wouldn't have one either. Right? Like I'd be out there cheating the system. I'd be doing side work, telling people you don't need any of this stuff. Like I'd be the guy that's out there ripping people off and not working, not doing it right. So I believe in the system and I got to defend it. Right? That's what protects us. So they require all these things to jump through. So you want to make sure that if you're talking to somebody that they're licensed for what they're doing in the field. Now everything that requires a license to be had to install also requires that same license to be sold. So that's what keeps us from selling other things like plumbing or landscaping or general contractor. I mean, how many guys have you seen run around that on their truck is like everything under the sun, but one license number?
So I see a lot of companies that are selling products that they're not licensed for. That, I feel like, that happens a ton in our industry. I know that there's electricians out there selling insulation products. Yep. There's definitely electrical contractors selling insulation products. And they're not licensed for that insulation product. They don't have that license, but they're doing it kind of underneath everything else. They're just
they're like subbing it out.
And
then they're putting it under their license.
Right.
Which you can't do. Whether or not you hire a sub that is licensed or not, you're not allowed to sell it. Like you're not supposed to be selling it.
Right.
So when we work together with a roofer, we bring them in. We don't do anything with, like, we bring them in, and that's it. Like, we work together. We don't tell somebody that we're going to sell them direct. We tell them exactly who we're using, what their license number is, and we're going to work together on the project.
Yeah, we're not doing the roofing. We're not doing the insulation. We're not doing the plumbing. This is who's doing that part, those parts of the project, because they are the ones with the license. Correct.
So we've also see a lot of solar sales companies out there that are running and gunning, selling solar, but they're not licensed to do the work. They sub it out. They sub it out to somebody that is licensed, but it goes against the ROC's regulations that you can't sell what you're not licensed for.
Report them.
Report them. Report them. So Register of Contractors, we got to update it every 2 years. We got to pay, to have it re-upped, renewed. There's a residential recovery fund out there. So if you hire a licensed contractor and something were to happen to me or our work, that the recovery fund is there to in case to supplement anything that might go wrong on a project. So we pay into that fund. Unlicensed contractors don't. There's no access. There's no safety net for you guys there. I do wish the ROC would test. Like, I wish it would test a little more. Like, kind of like NABCEP, where you require me to get like some educational credits, continuing education, right? There are some companies out there where people have bought the company and the license, and there's no qualifying party, where it was like it's like grandfathered in. The license is now held by the company. I don't really know the rules on that, but I think that it still should be tied to some person. Versus now this company is owned. One of them I know that was owned and they bought it and they have no experience, and they have this license that just got I don't know how it works. So if you know, comment the link below. And it's really never been important enough for me to go look it up. I got other shit to do. Right. If it ever comes up and I need it, like, I'll look into it. But like, so I've seen that. But like NABCEP, our NABCEP certification, they require us to provide 30 hours of continuing education, proof of working in the industry still. Like, because somebody can get an electrical license in 1943 and then go sell hamburgers for 40 years and then come back as long as they were paying their bill. They go now they're back. How much has shit changed since 1943? A ton.
A lot.
Right. Yep. So we think that some continuing education would be ideal to kind of help keep contractors knowledgeable and aware of what's going on in industry standards as far as their testing, their industry. So every year, our industry, electrical trades, right? It's a national electric code that we go by. So everybody in America has to go by the same rules and regulations as far as the nationally. And then the states and local jurisdictions have their own on top of that. And the utility company has, so there are a bunch of stuff.
Arizona is actually one of 3 states that the local jurisdiction is choosing which national electric code they're using versus the actual state choosing the national electric code. Just which
is crazy. So like, I mean, so the 2020 every year, every 3 years, this national electric code comes out. So this is the code book for 2017. I got the new one. Most of the jurisdictions in Arizona are using the 2017. So they haven't updated to the 2020. But look at this one. This one is the National Electric Code from 1968. So you can see why it's important to stay up to date on what you're doing, right? So I always say electricians are the hardest because we have the biggest code book. Challenge. So if you got a bigger book than we do, or got to remember all the more rules than we do, let me know. But this is what happens, right? So we go every year, it gets better. Every year they're meeting, discussing what's going to be in the next chapter or in the next series. So we want to, I think it's important to stay up to date on those things, and I think the ROC should require us to do some more continuing education stuff like NABCEP does. And I think it's going to help everybody if they do something like that.
And the jurisdictions make sure that we're up to date on our codes and we're doing things right. So they send out inspectors to look at specific jobs that they reference the codes on those jobs. So if we're not up to date, then there's issues on our jobs.
I mean, we're looking at 4 times the amount of stuff in the new code book versus the old code book. I mean, the new one's like 8.5 by 11, and the old one's like 6 by 10 by itself. So it's like expanded greatly. I mean, heck, the 1968 code book I almost could put in my pocket.
Right.
This thing
Carry it
right here,
around.
this thing right here is like a paperweight you can't lug around. Like it's ridiculous. So if you're in a trade out there that you guys got to remember more stuff than we do, let me know. I have a plumber friend that tells me he's got to know more than everybody and this and that. But I don't even think they have a code. I don't even think he had a code book.
I've yet to see that code book.
Me too. Yeah, he won't show it to us. But he's like, oh, that's why I get to charge more than you, Josh. I go, no, it's because you got to handle shit. Nobody wants to touch the poop. Like, nobody wants to touch poop. So I get that. But at the same time, I'd rather touch poop than like be electrocuted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Electrocute is not fun.
Let's put a poll. Poll below.
Poll below.
Volt or poop? Like, which one? Volts or poop? Right. And actually, it's not even the volts that hurt you, it's the amperage, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's something to be said for the National Electric Code. Let me know your thoughts below. If you think there should be continuing education or if we should just keep paying the bill. Like, that's pretty much just all they do.
Right.